Ready?
Yeah.
You look ready.
What is going on, comic fans? I hope you're ready. I'm ready. It's Tuesday. It's time for another new DC Day stream. Time to look at what's coming out this week and get really excited because there's some major books dropping this week. And one in particular is going to, and I think this is said too often, and I've even been critical of it, but it's going to reestablish a new status quo for the DC universe. And we're going to be talking about it and other books, doing the weekly giveaway. Don't forget to check the super chat goal. If we hit that, we'll do the extra prizes in there. Let's go. The description of this video and all of my videos has some fantastic links to some amazing resources in the comic book hobby. MegaCon is right around the corner, I think. Might be, pretty sure it is, but Big Time Collectibles always curates a lot of fantastic books for that event, so be sure to go check them out. Might be some stuff over there you really like. I know they got the crow blind bags that they're working on. That looks pretty cool. If you need anything clean, pressed, or submitted to grading, Justin Comics has got you covered. Let them know you found it via the channel. Don't forget the channel membership button is down there as well. Hit that. Join the Legion, like 80 members strong right now. But if you join in the Legion tier, not only do you get the loyalty badges next to your name, access to the custom emojis, you also get your name on the monthly Legion Loot giveaway, which we just ran for the winner of the February one this past Sunday. And Steven with the C won that. So a big pack of comics coming his way. And ABX Comics and Games is down there as well. If you need to set up a pool list so you never miss out on comics, they got you covered. They are, in fact, the community's comic shop. And you don't have to be local in the Augusta area. You can be long distance and still get all of your books taken care of. All the books we'll be talking about today, I pick up from ABX Comics and Games. Let's say hey to the chat. Inchby and Comics clocking in first. What's going on, Kev? Good to see you in here, homie. Ruby G, White Tiger Triple C. Happy new DC Day to you. We got Joe Michaels in here. The Dark Lord is back, and he ain't Darth Vader. Also, 32 months now. Does that mean I'm Mark's adopted brother? It's got to be close. Got to be getting close at this point. Got to be close. I definitely appreciate you, homie. Happy Tuesday to you as well, Lisa. Good to see you in here. Bryant, what's going on, brother? How are you? And we got Steven with a C, the most recent Legion Loot winner, dropping the first $2 super chat. Happy DC Day, Legionnaires. Let's go. I love that clip. It's from Monarch, Season 1. Monarch, Legacy of Monsters, the Apple TV program. Season 2 just fired off last week. Man, I hope y'all are getting a chance to watch it because it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. And we talked about episode 1 this past Sunday. We'll be talking about each episode each week on Sunday nights during the live stream right here on the channel. Vogsy, what's going on, homie? Hey, Pop Pop. Hey, dropping those custom emojis. There you go. Phil, what's going on, homie? Faith and Misery, good to see you. Currently reading through the whole DCKO event. Just read Joker versus Red Hood. Crazy stuff. Yeah, I like the way that they played that one out. That was one of those ones where it's like, yeah, I get it. You want to give Jason a W, but you want the Joker to move forward. Some of those 1v1, I think there was 2 of those all fight month issues that I just wasn't that big of a fan of. I didn't like the Harley Quinn Zatanna one, and I did not care for the one. But the rest of them were either pretty fun or really good. I thought the Captain Atom Superman one was really good. The Aquaman Hawkman one was the best. Just leaps and bounds the best. It was amazing. Canadian Survivalists, what is going on? Hope you're doing good. Yep, when I paid for my monthly comics day, Paul said he was packing up Durr stuff as well. Yeah, there's a lot of people right here in the comic community that uses ABX Comics and Games. Joe Michaels, Collecting with Durs, Brian LCS, Geek Out with Roscoe, Burke Family 54 Comics. A lot of people. Painted Pages, what's going on, homie? Speaking of Burke Family 54, here's an adjacent person, Steven with the sleeves. I like what I saw from episode 1, season 1 of Monarch. Going to try the next episode tonight. There you go. Yeah, get caught up. We'll be talking about it every Sunday night. I will tell you, season 1, it becomes very character focused. Every episode will focus on a different character. You get Titans in every single episode except for one, but it builds up good. You legitimately enjoy and care about the human element of the show, and it does a lot to add extra context and details to the films as well. I think that it's just really, really well crafted. like the clip, might actually have to go watch Monarch. Dude, it's so good. It's so good. And if you remember that moment is just a different vantage point pretty much of something that happened in the first legendary Godzilla movie, the 2016? Something like that. The first one. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. Agree with your assessment on those 1v1 fights. Yeah. Kenny B, what is going on, homie? For me, the Harley and Zatanna was the best. And Aquaman versus Hawkman was second. Really good stuff. I didn't like the Harley. All right. So the reason I didn't care for the Harley Zatanna and the Wonder Woman Lobo is for the same reason, because the writer wasn't qualified in that specific situation to pull this off without just having to say, you know what, in this moment, who cares what we've done before? Who cares what comes after? I'm just going to, just because I can't think of something. There was kind of like I can't think of a good reason, so here you go kind of situation. Like with Lobo, it was like him uttering a specific phrase that caused like their version of God to say, oh, we're going to take away this power. Like that was stupid, made no sense. And with the Zatanna Harley Quinn thing, it was just at the end, there's this crazy weird turn to them. Just like they were like one step away from making out of left field. It was super weird, made no sense whatsoever. So I didn't understand that either. Harley should have just throat punched her twice. I called that throat punch months in advance, by the way. I said, makes no sense. Like in all reality, everyone's like, how could Harley ever fight Zatanna? And I pointed out, Harley's super smart and conniving. All she has to do is throat punch her one time and she wins a fight. And I thought that was great that they actually did that in the book. That was really cool. But the end of it, it was both of them that I enjoyed them all the way through until like the last 3 pages. It kind of just craps the bed. I'm like, it's kind of weird in this moment. I don't know. Love the throat punch. Yeah. I did too. Harley's hand was awful. Now, like I said, I enjoyed it up until the end. Like a good example is the Cyborg Swamp Thing. That's a great example of one of these things is not like the other. Swamp Thing would body Cyborg, and he does in the second round specifically. But in the third round, the writer was actually thinking it through. He's like, you know what? In this situation, in this fight, this KO tournament event, logically, it makes sense for Cyborg to move forward. If you were getting to pick your fighter for the set of circumstances ahead, you would take Cyborg. And Swamp Thing recognized that and gave him the pass, because it was one of those things like, yeah, what lies ahead of us is bad for both of us. You're more qualified to deal with it than I am. You know, like the green would be like useless in that situation. So I thought that was smart. And kind of the same situation for the Jay and Guy Gardner fight. Kind of had that same like recognition of what's about to happen kind of thing. I thought that was pretty cool. I agree. They both had meh endings, the Harley and the Wonder Woman fights. Yeah. Butter, what's going on, T-Dubs? That's right. Don't forget to go to failureforce.com to get your custom t-shirts from Failure Force. Not a sponsor, but yeah. And yeah, most of them come in butter. That's official color. All right, let me share my screen here. Let me share my screen. Wait, let me see what it says. So many people posting DCKO5 spoilers already, making me mad. Gotta wait until tomorrow to read it. Yo, Sector messaged me and said, holy smokes, I just saw a spoiler for DCKO5. I'm like, not for me. I posted a picture of the cover, the thumbnail for today, the same picture I used of Darkseid on this thumbnail, and just my rating for it, and the most vague review possible. It's just saying, hey, it's good, action-packed, full of lore, X, Y, Z. We'll talk about it in more detail here without getting into spoilers, but it's crazy. I follow a lot of accounts, but I haven't seen a single spoiler. I don't know what platform or where they're happening at, but yeah, I think that's pretty much a D-bag move for people to be posting spoilers early. That's crazy. Actually, that's what got me to read this event. Nice. Well, not the DCKO5, but the Wonder Woman Lobo fight. Yeah, dude, it was. I'm glad it got people in. It's a great event. It's a great event. All right, let's get these books up. Let's see what's coming out this week. Now, it's not a big release week for this guy. There's not a ton of stuff out that I'll be picking up, but they're the ones that are coming out. I'm super excited for, and I feel like they're kind of bigger books. And this one, starting it right off, Blood and Money starts here. The new tagline across the top of Matt Fraction's Batman. This is issue number 7. So Batman historically is like the big hitter for DC Comics, at least over the past decade or so. This specific Batman title, Batman proper, not detective, not a random miniseries, not an offshoot, but the main Batman title. Matt Fraction's on it. And I feel like I think it would be getting talked about a whole lot more if Absolute Batman wasn't happening, if the entirety of the Absolute universe wasn't such a huge hit right now. I don't think there's anything wrong with this book. I'm going to put that out there. There's nothing that's super stand out-ish about this book. But I think now that we're getting into it a little bit, similar to the Chip Zdarsky run, you got to give a new writer time to start like getting it going. They're kind of building on their own story. So you get a few stories under their belt and it'll start improving. I feel like that's what we're seeing with this. And again, I want to bring up the fact that this was originally talked about, slated about, and a few weeks ago, I even brought this point up and challenged people who held the belief that anyone can buy any issue of this book because they're writing it as standalone stories that they all just work on their own. That's the biggest lie. That's not true. That doesn't make sense. That's not what this book is. That's not how this book's written. And I've heard people say it as early as like 2 issues ago. So that's not the case at all. And this issue is the start of the next story arc. So we just did 6 issues, where for those 6 issues, we kind of just spend them really diving into what Matt Fraction's foundation for his Batman story moving forward will be. You know, we took time to check in with all of our characters. We shot Tim Drake, and he got better in the hospital and decided that he's giving up being Robin. He's going to go off with Bernard and just spend some time not superheroing. So they took a Robin off the board. We see that Damian is just Damian doing Damian stuff right there where you would expect him to be. So status quo Damian. Check in with the Bat family for an issue, status quo stuff there. They introduce readers to Jim Gordon and where he is now in this current continuity situation where Vandal Savage is commissioner. Jim Gordon has rejoined the force. He's pretty much a beat cop. So ultimately, we know that is going to get to the point where he retakes the role of commissioner. How far down the road, we don't know, but it will get there eventually. You have to deal with Vandal Savage being the commissioner. Maybe this big Bat crossover event that we're getting into right here will lead to that. This Blood and Money story arc, it's literally saying starts here, right across the top, implies an ongoing story. It flies in the face of the whole narrative that this series is one that stands in single issue storytelling format. So that's crazy. No one reads like that anymore. But I got to tell you, this was an interesting start. It's no secret they're going to be bringing the Joker into his story. In what capacity, we're not sure. We were shown the Joker a couple of issues ago. The Joker is in a vat, floating, incapacitated, under the watchful eye of this doctor who's got this neurotechnology that Bruce is kind of been looking into, investigating with kind of thing. So in this one, Batman's called to go speak to the Joker. What does it say on the cover down here? Featuring a stunning fold-out that takes you inside the mind of the Joker. Well, that's kind of false advertisement. There's a fold-out page in here. It's right on the cover. So the centerfold of this is fantastic. It's a Jorge Jimenez double gate fold-out kind of shot, kind of picture. But it's pretty cool. But yeah, this is like a it's really interesting issues. Like it's kind of like that movie The Cell with Jennifer Lopez and Vince Vaughn from back in the day, going in the mind of a serial killer kind of thing. But not like you're going and seeing his thoughts or any of that. You're going to get to see, you're going to check in with the Joker. We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at you're going to check in with the Joker. I don't think this Blood and Money story arc has really anything to do with the Joker. I don't think he's the antagonist for it or anything like that. You know, they introduced the Minotaur a couple of issues ago when we haven't seen what the Minotaur is going to do. And after reading this issue, I feel like we might be calling back to that for this Blood and Money thing. It kind of implies it in the name since the Minotaur was reforming and taking over all the crime families of Gotham. So it seems more like that. So that's what I'm expecting of that. No secret, the Poison Ivy stuff will be happening in here. She'll be becoming mayor at some point. So we'll see what happens. Is this the same Matt Fraction that works on Monarch? Yes, it is. He's the co-writer of Monarch Legacy of Monsters. Yep, good stuff. I mean, Zatanna and Harley Quinn making out at the end of DCKO wouldn't have made the book any worse. Should have kissed. Why not? Because it's not in continuity with their characters. So I get it. Like some people like to just what's called ship characters. And that's fun for like fan casting stuff. But when you break character to pull it off, you're now like imposing yourself into these characters that have a built-in characteristics, they have motives, they have a history, they have like a projected path forward. And when you just make random stuff up just because why not, it actually it changes the character and nature of people. Harley, would she be making out with Zatanna? What's her stance currently with Poison Ivy? How does she feel about that? Zatanna's not out there making out with any women anyway. She has a complicated relationship with Constantine, and that's why not. It'd be out of character and be weird. And also, if in the context of that specific issue, super weird because she was laying there dying, bleeding out. Like, so it'd be really weird for a makeout session for any character in that moment, even ones that are, it'd be weird for Superman and Lois to start making out if Lois was sitting there bleeding out. Be a little odd. 23 months, what is going on? Batman is at the bottom of my pile. It's just okay. Same. And I don't think it's really a testament to its quality. It's just a testament to how much good stuff, like really great books are coming out. If it wants to jump to the top, it needs to get a lot better. I think this one, after this one, I'm a little bit more excited than before this one. I'm pulling Batman, but I'm debating whether I want to get this issue because I'm so tired of the Joker. I would say give it a shot because I don't think we're doing a Joker-focused story moving forward. I think it's just here he is kind of thing. Like, where's he been? Here he is. And he's in a time and place in this character's journey that he ain't going nowhere. You know what I mean? I don't want to spoil it. Like, you've seen him in the vat. I don't think he's coming out of the vat. You know what I mean? There's other stuff happening. And I think it's just kind of more like a check-in kind of thing. House of L, what is going on, homie? Good to see you, Donovan. Hey, Mark, which Robin do you like better, Damian or Tim? In terms of like which one would I prefer to read right now, definitely Damian. It's kind of like, which Superboy would you rather read right now, Superboy Prime or John Kent Prime? Because they're just doing more interesting stuff with him right now. I think that Tim is the best Robin, the greatest Robin, the true successor to Batman. But Damian's a more entertaining character to follow right now, just because it's one of those characters like John Kent that they've just ran out of stuff to do with, or like pick a character from the Flash family, like Impulse or something. It's like they have a rotating attention span kind of thing. The OG Mr. Grayson. That wasn't an option. That's Nightwing. Everyone loves Dick. It's more interesting to take him out of the equation and then see who people pick 100%. And Dick's not Robin. He's a character that successfully ascended to his own. Same for Jason Todd. Jason Todd's Red Hood. I mean, if you're saying currently, like which Robin would you pick currently? You know what I mean? For me, each Robin had their pulses and pluses and minuses. Tim is the greatest detective. Damian is the most strategic and ruthless. Yeah. What is going on, Wayne? Good to see you, homie. Zatanna kisses backwards. Yeah, exactly. I mean, fair. I meant for the fun of it, nothing serious. Yeah, for the fun of it, why not? But it was a fight to the death book for the fate of the DC universe and inside of a big event. Bad time and place, but they didn't get there. And I think I think if they would have actually did a kiss goodbye in that context of that book, even that, whether it was in or out of character, it would have made sense because, like I said, that was just where they were logically taking the panels. And like that relationship between them just seemed out of left field and shoehorned in there that doesn't belong. So at good point, Letters, why wouldn't they in that moment? Because they'd already jumped the shark when she's laying there dying and they're having that moment anyways, save for the kiss, But yeah, good point. It wouldn't have made it any worse or better. It was already bad because they made this weird relationship-based connection between the two of them that didn't exist before the book started. So yeah, they might as well had. Yeah, good point. And at least that way, people could have probably sold the book more. Yo, y'all won't believe what just happened. Look who was making out. Just don't tell anyone she's bleeding out. Let them go buy the book and find out for themselves. The more sales, the better. Garfong, what is going on, homie? Good to see you in here. But yeah, Batman number 7. Out of the 7 issues, this might be the least action-packed one, but possibly my favorite issue. Outside of issue 1. I love what they did with Killer Croc in issue 1. I don't know why. I just always have it seemed like a soft spot for Killer Croc. I like that character. when it comes to the Batman rogues, I really like Croc. A lot of things you can do with him. It's a big week for the Absolute DC Universe. Issue number 17 of Absolute Superman is out. Wait a minute. Wait, it's National Cold Cut Day? That's fantastic. That's fantastic. I was hoping Harley would have worn her Harley armor that has the poison kiss. Would have been a great twist with the kiss. Yeah, that'd have been funny if she ended up killing her before she bled out. Yeah, I really think Harley should have pulled through on that. All right, we got Superman 17 from the Absolute Universe. This was our second issue in the new story arc here. I'm just gonna make this bigger. You got Hawkman on the cover. I gotta tell you, the last issue of Absolute Superman was my favorite. The true real rollout of Absolute Hawkman. We saw him in Forever Evil, killed Oliver Queen. But his interaction, meet up with Superman, that you could feel the tense in the air. You can feel the suspense building between these two characters. One just great guy, full of hope and this and that. And one just an absolute psychopathic murderer for all we know. For everything we've been shown about him, Hawkman is just a killer working for the bad guy, taking out a lot of his old friends and partners and all kinds of stuff that we don't know the details of yet. But we saw his origin, and it really ended with a tense little back and forth with him and Hawkman, and it gets interrupted by the rollout of Parasite, this giant kaiju-sized wicked monster version of Parasite for this Absolute Universe. So this one, that's why you see all these little purple Parasite stuff. Huge issue, action-packed, really cool. Same awesome artist as the last issue. What is this artist's name? Juan Ferreira. Super great interior artwork. Absolutely loved it. But this was a fun issue. You get to figure out where, what, when, how, and why for Parasite. And it looks like, remember where the last issue ended with that little teaser with Absolute Brainiac going to recruit Lex Luthor and finding out that he's not the Lex that he wants, that he's learned about from this multiverse. This Lex on this world is just a nice guy, a family guy, raising his family, staying on his farm, growing his stuff, has no interest in anything but staying there. No amount of money could buy him away from his family. So it ended with Brainiac turning his arms into chainsaws and getting ready to go just slaughter everyone in attendance at the barbecue at his house. We'll check back in with that in this issue too. You won't believe how savage Absolute Brainiac is. We thought we figured it out in the earlier issues of this. He just levels up. He has leveled up again. Disgusting, wicked character. Hey, what's going on, homie? Yeah, what else did they talk about here? Parasite invades Metropolis. Superman must save it. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So, yeah, we get a really cool issue of Superman here. It kind of showcases how it doesn't matter what the world is made out of. Superman is an anomaly. He is an anomaly. All right, we got Absolute Flash, issue number 12, the finale to the first year of Absolute Flash. 12 issues in. Big finale issue here. New story arc will start next. And a really cool cover. You get Eobard Thawne, the reverse Flash that's been corrupted, mutated, and changed from this alternate dimension. Fort Fox has been ultimately trying to get to this technology to get in there to figure out what happened to Thawne all those years ago with him and Jay Garrick opening up this portal to this other dimension. What does this still point hold that can be useful, accessed? And what happened to Thawne and all the other ones that went there? Well, they don't know, because by the time they got it open, this thing came out. Absolute Reverse Flash. Pretty wicked, fast-paced issue, fun. Not much for the lore in this one. They kind of unpacked that already. This is really just a final fight kind of issue. Does a great epilogue, though. It'll get you really excited for what's to come. You still have all of his rogues going into this. You got little Grodd running around the facility. You got Wally and his father reunited finally after the events of the first story arc. So this one is I enjoy this one a good bit. This feels like the most traditional feeling book out of all the Absolute titles, despite it still being very different from the main DCU Flash. It's still the most traditional written and executed. What's going on, Kevin? Good to see you, homie. My pool is Batman, Absolute Superman, Absolute Flash, DC KO number 5, DC All in Special 1/3 printing. Is that the one with the Absolute characters on the cover? I thought that was DC KO number 1. We'll see. Love Flash. Yeah, yeah. Ronnie Johnson, what's going on, homie? Good to see you. But yeah, this was a blast. I don't think they did a Clayton Crane cover for this one. He's typically gotten some good Clayton Crane covers. I hate this one. Geez, that's terrible. Leslie lyrics. Like I can't stand how a lot of the anime influences is hitting the Western comic books. That looks like a girl, like in the face. That doesn't look like Wally. It doesn't look like a boy. It looks like a girl head on a boy body. It's weird. Very weird. I don't get it. This one's wicked though. Who did this? That's a gorgeous cover. I was like the colors on it too. I'm still not a fan of Absolute Flash's costume. You know, with the big final fight issue, maybe he'll get a new one moving forward. Maybe he'll ultimately get a new one. Let's check in on these Bat titles before we dive into KO. All right, Batgirl's up to issue 17, still going strong. The Curse of the Blood starts here. So all of these Bat titles have these not event like big crossover like DC KO, but next story arc starting. I'm wondering if they're doing all that because coming out of DC KO, you might have a lot of new readers, and putting a big starts here on the books can help readers to jump on. But it's wicked stuff. What is this? Yu Yong Eom. This is the person that does those wicked Aquaman variants, but the face looks like a 7-year-old boy, so you can't buy them. They just look awful. Phenomenally high detail paint work with just terrible faces. Well, with Cassandra Cain here, he knocked it out of the park. The face on this looks perfect, matches the body flawlessly, and the daggum paint work is just insane. Like, what a great artist. Just got to work on getting faces right on other characters, but this is just wicked, super wicked, and I had to pick it up as part of the inclusion in today's giveaway. I have a copy of that as well as Ian Bertram's Dark Side for DCKO, which I'll get a closer look at that when we pull that up here in just a few minutes because it is absolutely stunning. So don't go anywhere giving those away today. How goes it? Oh, the wife's getting ready to head out to work. Ugh. Not excited. The Change Cassandra Cain returns to Gotham, spinning directly out of the events of DC KO. So I think we're going to see that a lot with the titles over the next couple of weeks. Batgirl back in Gotham City where she wakes up with the twisted metahuman abilities of the blood. Weird. Have fun. The power to wield and control her blood like a weapon, but her Bat family reunion is cut short when she is forced to ascend Wu Corp Tower to confront her blood. A lot of blood in here. So she has blood bending powers now? I haven't been following this. I haven't been reading it. It's up to issue 17. I haven't read a single issue of it. But she has blood bending powers now? Is anyone in the comments reading this title? You know, we got Aquaman doing the hydrokinesis stuff, water bending, even blood bending to the content of water in the blood. But now Cassandra Cain is a blood bender. It says because of the events of DC KO, but what was going on in this title before then? Interesting. All right, here we go. This is one that I'm very curious about. Mayor Ivy starts here, Poison Ivy, issue number 42. Issue number 42. Wicked book, or wicked covers, as always. This person, see the same artist, Yu Yong Eom. Amazing, high detailed, really cool covers. Works great on the female characters because he draws faces of females. Kind of like the same criticism that you can have for some of Alex Ross's stuff. His females look very male. Like, go look at Power Girl. Go look at Wonder Woman. You know, they don't necessarily look too feminine a lot of the time. With this artist, it's the exact reverse. He can't draw a guy's face to save his life. Or she. I don't know if this is a male or female drawing these. Either way, the female covers are just almost 10 out of 10 pieces of art. They're incredible. And this is no exception. Boom, got a $2 super chat from Garfong that puts us at 2 out of 5 for the bonus prizes. Awesome Batgirl variants. Absolutely. Good to see you, homie. But yeah, this is gorgeous as well. Mayor Ivy storyline starts here. It says Gotham City has a new mayor. It's the beginning of a brave new era of Poison Ivy as Pamela Isley ascends to the role of mayor of Gotham City. But what is her vision for Gotham's future? And how far will she go to protect it? Let's just say things are going to get pretty bloody. A lot of blood conversations. Wild. Wild. Anyways, so I'm going to be keeping up with what's going on with that and how it affects the greater Gotham continuity. You know what I mean? I'm up for a job at another company. I'm hoping I get it. It will be life-changing job. Wish me luck. Oh, dude, awesome. Absolutely. Good luck. When will you know by, or when will you find out? The DC variants have been bad for years. They were really good during the Rebirth era, but have since gone downhill. What? Like just in general thing, I think the DC variants are well. I might not be the best person to measure it. I think they're amazing. I think they're amazing. Just as an in general. I mean, there's so many. You know what I mean? There's like 5 for every title at least on like a slow title, but I don't know, man. I don't buy a bunch of them anyways. You know, I'm an A cover guy, so I don't really put that much stock into it when I'm looking. I'm like, yeah, cool, 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 and that's about as far as I go with them. But every once in a blue moon, I'm like, golly, and that Young Yoon Eon person caught me doing those Aquaman covers. It got me a golly out of it because the detail and the mesh armor, the lighting, the reflection and stuff, and then the weird little faces. I'm like, God, that sucks. I'll buy some cool Aquaman variants in a heartbeat, but I try to refrain in general. Asian artists tend to go for a more androgynous and pretty boy look compared to Western artists. Yeah, it's a problem. It's a problem because they're not drawing anime books. So that's how it works perfectly with Ivy and Cassandra Cain don't look androgynous. They look female. And I would argue that he wasn't drawing androgynous Aquaman. He was drawing female Aquaman and 7-year-old on top of that. I think it was like that. You know how like the anime thing has like the curved up nose and people say it's meant to like look cat-like or whatever. It's just too much of that. It made his head look tiny and stuff. But I agree, they're drawing it more anime style, like I don't know, everything about it looked either like super sexy, feminine, and then you get to the anime face, or either with Aquaman it was like super masculine, machismo, little 7-year-old girl face. It was just weird. I'd have to go back and pull it up for you. Some of them are not as bad as the one that I keep referring to. I'll give I don't know if it's a boy or girl. Someone's got to look up this artist, but I'll give the artist that. I'm not saying they're all as bad as that one. It was that one that I think I was just so frustrated because I saw like the detail on the armor and body before I saw the face. I'm like, what is this even? But yeah, Asian artists do draw with the Asian influences. Makes sense. Doing background check now. There are a few steps to this job. Well, good luck, homie. Most of them I wouldn't even think about buying. I'm talking strictly about the art. I used to always buy variants. Now it's just cover A. Yeah, that could just be you like maturing as a reader, because when it comes down to it, I know you, Steve, you're definitely a reader first and foremost. You know what I mean? And as time goes, like I think all people, the longer you're into comics, the more you're like, yeah, I'm fine with this A cover. Yeah, that looks great, but I'm fine with paying $1 less. And once I get this stack of 30 books, I just save myself $47 buying A covers. You know, like that's when you really think, how much is that variant worth to me? You know? What's going on, Joffrey? DC variants are great across the board. I find it impossible not to like at least one. Yeah, 1000%. 1000%. That's how I feel. But again, I'm not like someone who decides my wallet on that. I'm a window shopper for the variants, but I think that they really do crush it. There's something for everybody. If you want lovely lady bombshell covers, if you want like thirst trap Nightwing covers, if you want just a variety on kind of more traditional run of the mill covers, if you want foil covers, they're doing a string of foil virgins right now. You had one for Batgirl, one for Poison Ivy, one for JSA this week, and more to come. Jorge Jimenez is doing a lot of them, but it reminds me of like when they did the All In kickoff and we had all those foil character covers. They're doing it again for the next level kickoff, I guess. But they're really cool. There's a lot to choose from. They're only like $7 a pop. Not bad for a cardstock foil virgin variant cover. But yeah, some cool stuff. I dig a lot of the variants, but I also believe there are too many. Some should have met the chopping room floor. Yeah, and I wouldn't even know how to measure that. I wouldn't even know how to measure too many or we need more. Because you look at books like Poison Ivy, Catwoman, Cassandra Cain's Batgirl, would we even still have those books if there weren't so many variants for those? And I still see situations where like A lot of covers don't even make it to the shelf, you know. People see them after the fact, add them to their pull list. What's going on, Lascrucius? Hello from out of town somewhere in New Mexico. There you go. There's one Korean artist called Inhyuk Lee. Oh, yeah, very familiar with Inhyuk Lee. Probably the most famous. Has been around for the longest. His variants used to go for big money. I like his run of the Supergirl variants he did for a long time. His art is very hit or miss for me. But man, when they hit, it hits hard. Yeah, I agree. Him and Derek Chu were kind of like the trailblazers and like the most modern of times here. You know what I mean? For the variant cover game, for the Asian influence. A lot of cover A's are horrible nowadays. Yeah, fair enough. Super fair enough. Absolutely. There are a lot of bad ones, especially when you compare them to the pieces of art that are the variants. Yeah, I remember that Aquaman cover. It creeped me the F out. Yeah, dude, it was wild. Man, those freaking dollars add up quick. I try to stay to cover A's, but sometimes I need those variants. Hey, I'm the same way. Because I'll end up like pulling one thinking, oh, I need this. And then as I'm sitting there after a while, I'm like, okay, no, I don't. I'm putting it back. It does add up fast. It really does, especially if the variant you pick is a foil one. So instead of $1 more, it's $2 or $3 more, stuff like that. Or if you get a ratio variant, you know. All right, we're getting the penultimate issue of Batman Green Arrow, The Question Arcadia, possibly the longest title of the year. The longest comic book title of the year. No idea what the variants look like for this. Oh, that's dope. I like the Batman's Arctic suit in this. It reminds me of the suit from Batman Returns, but just with a different color. Instead of being black, it's like the snow camouflage, like it's kind of white. This has been a fun story. Black Label title, R-rated, language violence, got all that. But what a great team up of characters or crossover of characters with Vic Sage, The Question, Oliver Queen, Green Arrow, and Bruce Wayne, Batman. This is a throwback to kind of like the Denny O'Neil era style of stuff with these characters. Denny O'Neil's famous for working on The Question. He's also famous for working on Green Lantern, Green Arrow, and Batman, all three characters. So, yeah, it's kind of cool. It's kind of really cool. The whole concept behind this is rich company needs to be investigated to try to save a few people on the ever-dying world from climate change and wildfire. Like, pick any, like, environmental issue that's going on. Like, we need a fail-safe for those situations. And then think of the movie 2012, where, like, those giant arcs were built in the mountains and those workers were working there secretly. Like, so they're investigating something like that and the crimes associated with it, labor laws, violence, stuff like that. This is the issue where the ish has really hit the fan right here, number 3. Action-packed, violent, fun. Man, it's really good. Great artwork in it. Just all around, this is more mature book. The way that the story folds out and the way that the characters is very realistic in its tone and stuff. But really dig it. Really dig it. A bold rescue operation reunites Batman, Green Arrow, and The Question, only to crash and burn in the storm-ravaged mountains of Greenland. But the heroes' tenuous coalition is ripped apart at the seams as they brace for the retaliatory assault of a billionaire's private army. Yerp. Pretty much nail on the head with that description right there. Trying to get the workers out. It doesn't go as planned. Doesn't go as planned. We got a next super chat from JSS Brooklyn dropping the $1.99. 3 is the magic number. Appreciate you, JSS. Big shout out to you, homie. Good to see you in here today. What's going on, J-Mad? Happy DC Day to you, my good sir. Those covers are so good for Arcadia. Can't wait to pick up the trade for that. Yeah, my favorite one definitely was the Bill Sienkiewicz cover for issue 1. Perfect example. The variant was so good that I got the Bill Sienkiewicz cover and left the A cover behind. So I have like this offset set of this when it all comes out. I'll have all A covers except for that Bill Sienkiewicz cover for issue number 1, which was just, it was an actual, like, legit piece of artwork. You know what I mean? It was crazy. And there was a foil version of it. It was just mesmerizing the way that the colors worked for it. What's going on, Wellboard? Good to see you. I read the preview for Absolute Green Arrow. I was going to pass, but I'm going to try it for a couple of, oh yeah, dude, it's a must pick up for me. Absolutely. And it's just a mini series too. It's just slated as a mini series. So we'll see how the sales go with it. They might extend it, they might not, but I'm in for it. It's pretty much like a slasher film. Like he's the slasher in it, you know. Green Arrow is the slasher. I think it's gonna be interesting. Super down for it. I like the idea of them doing the limited series for the Absolute Universe. Like keep our core titles as ongoing, but do a mini series here, a mini series there. Let these characters appear in other books or other places when it's relevant, but everyone doesn't need an ongoing. At least Martian Manhunter. Martian Manhunter doesn't need an ongoing. Yeah, everyone else will see what happens. But as we know so far, definitely Martian Manhunter did not need an ongoing. Does not need, didn't even need that second 6 issues that they got. But we'll see where it goes from there. 10-cent Batman, welcome back. Good to see you again. Appreciate you dropping the $2 super chat. 4 is pretty wild as well. Running through the Monsterverse clips today. Man, I'm still on cloud 9 from that first episode. That Sienkiewicz was originally released as a poster in the 1980s. I still have it on my wall. Dude, that's amazing. So I was floored to see that foil #1 image from long ago. That is super cool. That's, man. Yeah, really, that makes so much sense. It matches more of his style you've seen in the 80s. And that matches the theme of this book, too. What this book is kind of meant to be that love letter to that Denny O'Neil era and stuff. So that's super cool. The one where their head and face look weird, I am not about. Yeah, 100%. Most people aren't. Yeah. Oh, of course, someone puts in the 5th one before me. Hey, don't let it stop you now. Don't let it stop you now. Okay, so I missed it. There we go. Fine. 5. Ooh, we appreciate you again, homie. Let's see what we got right here, right here. Through the wall. Through the wall. All right, loaders, there we go. Everyone buy green, Absolute Green Arrow, or I will cry. Boom. Yeah, dude, I hope everyone really does support it. We currently don't have an ongoing Green Arrow. This one's slated as a mini. Loaders is a massive Green Arrow fan. So yeah, at least issue 1, it's Absolute. Y'all seen what happened with some of these other Absolute titles and the prices behind them. So go out, get all the variants and stuff. I'm definitely picking up the A cover and at least the foil logo variant. I've gotten tons of covers for all the issue 1s of the Absolute Universe and hadn't come off a single one. So we'll see what it does. And I just looking at here by scrolling down, I see I got 2 more Monsterverse clips. 2 more Monsterverse clips, one of them being one that has never been played that I added since episode 1 of Monarch. It's come out. Never been played on this stream. I think I played it Sunday night. Let's see. Enya is great art. Yeah. Play me a Superman clip anyways, please. I did just now seeing it. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There we go. So Superman for you. Yeah, that's one of the coolest clips in there. Let's see. We got anything else before we dive into DCKO? I'm very excited to talk about DCKO. Issue 17 of JSA Year 1. This is Chapter 5. A major threat stares down Gotham City. The heroes are assembled, but can they work together long enough to face down the existential threat to the citizens of Gotham? So this has been our great story arc, which they really should have started Lemire's run with. But the big reveal of the last issue, Ultra Human Knight, is the one pulling all the strings, riling up this American faction of Nazis, the plan to attack the city to topple the tunnels under the city. You find out why, for what purpose, and who all's strings is being pulled. And you're also seeing more of these characters come together. So this is I believe this will be the penultimate issue to the Year 1 stuff. In the back half of this, you get like a backup story back in modern times for the first time in 5 issues, where it's setting up what's coming next. It addresses they started this with like a 13-issue massive in-game level event with the Injustice Society versus the Justice Society, along with the legacy characters of the JSAers, Infinity Inc., everyone. So you kind of get our first epilogue to that in the back pages of this, which I think is super, super necessary. Before we get back to modern times, you're going to really need to do hey, in case you just joined, a lot of stuff happened while you were away, and we're going to be picking up the pieces from there. And they shrank the pieces. I think that was the most important thing. My biggest criticism about the JSA book was it was not new reader accessible at all. At all. One bit. That's an issue. If Jim Shooter didn't teach people something, they should have learned that comics have to be accessible. I don't think you need to just act like everyone's dumb and every comic is like the first comic ever, but you need to keep in mind new readers on a regular basis. Don't forget about them. And maybe this is taking a little step to address that for the next story arc, because we're supposed to be getting this Wild Spectre story arc. Them super hyped for, super hyped for. When does Absolute Green Arrow release? No idea. Wait, do I still have a slide in here? I made slides to do that whole video. Nah, not in here no more. I looked when I made that video, and I don't have a clue off the top of my head anymore. Like maybe June. I don't know. May, April, sometime in the next few months. Not sure. Not sure at all. It's too far out. I can't keep up. You read the first arc for JSA and felt lost despite knowing a bit. Yeah. When dude, it was going to lose the best of them. Like I'm sitting there like having to like pause for the calls. Like, all right, let me recap this character in my mind real quick to the best of my ability. Yeah, it was rough, but I enjoyed it. But the whole time I'm reading it, I'm like, yeah, this is a lot. This is a lot. It's one of those ones that I enjoyed, but I couldn't recommend to people. I would feel guilty doing it. Check out this. That logo variant for this one. Isn't that wicked? That's the one I picked up today and then I ultimately put back. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to throw this in my box. I love it, but not going to do it. This is one of the foil character ones. Look at that. That's wicked. Now I picked up like 3 of these that come out this week and set them aside. I'm going to accumulate them for the Legion loot this month. Have a lot of great foil character virgin variants for the Legion loot this month for channel members, as well as other books, of course, but handful of those in there that released this month. New Godzilla's out. I think that's it for the DC. All right, let's hit it, guys. The big one for the week. The big one for the year, possibly. DC KO issue number 5. It all ends here. Or does it all start here? Or is it both? I'll tell you right now, it is both. Something's got to end for the next thing to begin. It says a DC Comics event right there at the bottom of that cover. That looks wicked. Of course, it's an acetate cover. You open it up to the wicked dark side picture. This is insane. Let's read the synopsis so that I don't give away anything that shouldn't be given away. That way I have a metric of what I can and can't talk about, because I definitely don't want to ruin the reading experience of this for anybody. The synopsis reads, the final battle for the Heart of Apocalypse. In the melee that started with dozens of heroes and villains, vying for their chance to win the ultimate power in the universe, now only one remains. But to truly be crowned the King Omega, you must battle more than the obstacles in your path. You must battle yourself. It's the finale to end all finales, as the one true champion is crowned. The fate of all that lives hangs in the balance, and a shocking decision that will bring the DC universe to the next level. We would type more, but honestly, anything else is a spoiler. So suit up, get ready, and leap into the final round. My God. Yo, that synopsis goes hard. Y'all, dude, I'm so excited for y'all to read this. I am legit ecstatic for people to read this. I cannot wait to talk about it. People, I legit don't think you really can say more about it than that. The only thing that I can really think about is last week's issue of Superman and the way that the last issue ended. You know, everyone knows that Time Trapper Doomsday is going to play a part in this issue somehow, some way. The secret Kryptonian origin, the added lore to Doomsday, he has a part to play in Darkseid. He wasn't built and designed as just a random experiment, just testing the limits of evolution. That was done to him, but there was a deeper reason to it. He has a utility that hasn't been revealed to us until this event, till this Superman run. Through the whole KO tie-in Superman arcs, Lois was trying to figure out what she can do to help. She was in the fortress. She was combing through the records, trying to get around safeguards and features to find new information. That she found out what it was. And they were trying to get that information to Time Trapper. They succeeded in the last issue. Till this issue, till KO number 5, we don't know what that is. But it'll get revealed. Find out to what level Doomsday has a part to play in all of this. It's been implied, we've been told that Darkseid is the Omega and that Doomsday is the Alpha. What does that mean? What does it ultimately mean? We know that Darkseid's called the Omega. He harnesses Omega energy. The entire absolute universe, down to a microscopic atomic level, is built off of Omega energy. We've seen what the Omega forces can do with the antimatter equation and just taking control of someone's will and bending it to your own. What does alpha energy do? We know nothing about it. It's just been introduced as a concept recently. So Scott Snyder has a massive, massive job on his hands to do something with one single issue of comic books, just one single issue of comic books, to explain some of that, to implement it into the story, to do something unique, creative with it. How are you going to do that while giving us this big final battle? We know that Lex Luthor was the last man standing from the tournament. The end of the last issue, he pulled a fast one, shot Superman in the back, and he's now been dubbed the winner of the tournament. What's he going to do to face off against Darkseid? What's he going to do? How is Doomsday going to intertwine into that? All that has to be answered as well. We have to go through that. And then the biggest task of all that any and all event has is not only to give us something epic in nature. How is this going to be the most bombastic issue of your entire event? What are you going to do to set up what comes next? How do you even start to imagine what comes next? The earth is in ruins. It's been completely terraformed into apocalypse, basically. All of these heroes have died in the KO event. Whoever wins this gets to reshape reality in their images they see fit. What does that look like if Lex Luthor is holding that power? Bro, you can say that. This is the greatest finale to a DC event in I don't know how long. I've read it. I'm doing my best not to say anything spoilery. I'm just referencing what they've done so far. But holy smokes, next level is going to be a blast, y'all. Next level is going to be a blast. Remember, all of the next levels, like just like with All In, like they made sure that Absolute Power was a springboard into All In. DC KO has to be a springboard into next level. And one thing that DC does when they're on their game, which they've been on for a long time now, better than anyone who's ever tried it, is continuity. Nobody is touching decent DC continuity. They don't got to be on there. If they're just doing decent, no one's getting near their level of continuity and shared universe and relevance of titles amongst other titles. What's coming next is you have Lobo, you have Batwoman, you've got Etrigan, you got Jonah Hex, Legion of Superheroes, Firestorm. There's so many things coming. And just like we read with the Batgirl synopsis, all of it is springing out of the events of DCKO. This book was incredible. There are only so many creators out there that can do big universe level stuff where the continuity of everything that you've been reading for the past 5 years matters, and there's no contradictions. They don't forget relevant stuff. It's all been building on itself and still deliver shocking moments, bombastic stuff where you're excited to turn the page, where you drop the book and you're like, oh, hell no, or let's go. This is one of those books, y'all. This book will be remembered for a long time to come. This event will be recommended to people after the fact. A lot of good events are, for better or worse, Identity Crisis is held in high regard and recommended to people, whether you've read a lot of stuff or not. Crisis on Infinite Earths is the GOAT of all event comics. Over at Marvel, you have Secret Wars, the Infinity Gauntlet. Certain event books hold up the test of time. Contest of Champions, Infinite Crisis, Flashpoint. This is added to the list. This is officially added to the list. He stuck the landing. I give this single issue a 9.5 out of 10. So hyped to read it again. I'm here for Firestorm and the Legion of Superhero titles. Let's go. Tell me. I'll still read it. Not happening, homie. No spoilers. None of these characters will really be dead, though. Of course, that's the whole context, right? Like, everyone has fallen in the tournament. They get, like, in the stone. They pretty much, you fall, you get turned to stone and put into the off to the little side, the trophy room next to the Heart of Apocalypse. We've seen from the boss battle issue that that's not death. You're out of the tournament. You fight to the death and you get put there like a stone trophy. But we saw World Forger bring a few of those characters out of like pretty much stone stasis to help fight in the boss battle one shot against the other dimensional characters, Homelander, Mortal Kombat, and all of them. And then at the end of that, they went back into stone stasis mode. It's not a matter of are these characters dead or alive. The problem is what happens to the universe moving forward. Darkseid's attempting to terraform it in his image. The whole point of the event is to stop Darkseid, and the things have gone so south from what happened in actual hell with Neuron and the Justice League Unlimited book to what's happened to the Speed Force and the Flash titles with trying to reshape it into the Omega Force to Earth being gone. Everyone's evacuated. It's literally the surface of Earth is like apocalypse. Hellfire pits everywhere, cities down. There's no going back. It's going to take someone has to reshape everything, has to reform it. That's the only way forward. But who's going to reform it and into what? That's the big problem. That's it. That's the big question. How does it get reconstituted? There's no going back. What's going on, Riley? I'm telling y'all, this is a great issue. This is such a good book. I'm so glad Evil Mike started reading it, because this right here, man, this is meant to be wild, off the rails, over the top, and fun. That's what it's meant to be. This is basically Death Metal Volume 3. You know what I mean? It's hardcore. You got Superman with Little Sons as brass knuckles. You got Batman in the Hellbat suit. It's literally Death Metal Volume 3. They don't mention metals, which made metal, you know, like the nth metal and all these extra metals and all that. We even had a little homage to the Batman Who Laughs, a little Easter egg with him for a moment. Not the real one, of course, but a little Easter egg. But this right here is just on that level of like, we're going balls to the wall, no holds barred. We're having fun with this and doing stuff you wouldn't see otherwise. We're going to put him in a situation where we can do extreme things, and it makes sense because of the terms, because of the foundation and the rules that we laid out at the beginning of this. So much wiggle room to do incredible, exceptional stuff. They did it. They pulled it off. Huge win. Superman is off the board and looks like he's going to be gone for a while. He's on 0 promo art for the rest of the year. Superboy Prime is the new Superman. Interested to see what they do. So the next thing for Superman characters, I mean, I haven't read DC KO5 though. Yeah. So the next thing for the DC Superman titles across the board is the Reign of the Superboys. Reign of the Superboys is the next thing they announced. Of course, Action Comics is already a Superboy title. It's a flashback book. You get Kal-El in the young years, Mark Waid writing. It's fantastic. Superman Unlimited sucks, so who cares? But the Superman main title, Superboy Prime, has been in. They kind of brought him back in such a creative way. He's such a great character. I love that character so much. He's been one of my favorite modern villains ever. But he's back, and in the most fantastic way ever. He's going to be front running the Superman book. I assumed early on, I was talking to loaders and some DMs, just kind of speculating, who do you think might win this KO event? I said, I think that Superman is going to win the DC KO event, and because it's this cosmic level event, that he's going to be away reshaping the universe as the winner of the DC KO event. That was my speculation, and because he's away, you'll just have these other Superboys stepping up in titles in his absence. Because again, continuity is a thing. If Superman is away doing something in the cosmos, he's not present to be in the Superman books. DC beats everybody else in continuity. It's not even close. Well, we saw that wasn't the case according to the events of DC KO number 4. He got taken out. So you'll have to read KO number 5 and what happens with the next Superman titles to figure out why he's not around or why the Superboys are front running it. Because apparently Luthor was the last man standing, but you'll have to read KO number 5. I want a KO video game now, like Mortal Kombat. That'd be pretty cool, right? Anyone read Superman Unlimited here and actually liked it? I think people like it. I think the vast majority of people have dropped it at this point. Like with anything, like I will concede with anything, there will always be people that like and dislike something. So there'll always be people that like it, but I think the vast majority of people that I've spoken to have dropped it. Some people held out longer than I have. And when I say held out longer than I have, I mean, I still got more issues than they did because I'm a glutton for punishment. Me dropping a Superman title is crazy, but I dropped Philip Kennedy Johnson's terrible book of L, like absolutely horrible book. And I dropped Superman Unlimited just because to be honest with you, it got offensive because I felt like on a meta level, they lied to us and they're taking our money. There's a premium on the price of that book, and it's not relevant. It's not relevant to the continuity. It was supposed to be the new front-running Superman title. Meanwhile, Joshua Williamson's Superman proper title was the best ongoing book of 2025. So I think that's unfair that they try to honey dick people with Dan Slott. Like that's something to draw readers in when it should be a red flag to run away from a book. And then the book itself was just terrible. Yeah, Steve said he dropped it after issue 7 or so. Started off fun, then dropped bad. Yeah. I'm still on Unlimited, but I have read a few in a while. And you're also got a collector angle to yourself, too. Me dropping Wally West Flash was crazy, but it was so bad I get you on dropping a title you never thought you would. Yeah, I did the same thing. I dropped Cy Sparrow's Flash, which is crazy. And now we have Ryan North. I just noticed that. Ryan North is coming over to write Flash, I think starting with the next issue, right? After Wade wrote the KO tie-in issues, but I think Ryan North is coming over to write it. Now, I have an idea of what's coming story-wise in Flash, and I'm super interested on a concept level, but my only experience with Ryan North is his terrible Fantastic Four stuff. And I know some people like it. It's not good. I'm sorry. It's not good. I think that there's a standard, like par for the course, what people think is good. And it's still a lot of layover from all the people that started reading comics because the MCU. You got introduced to these characters and Marvel and superheroes because you've grown up with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And you go to the shop and you start reading Marvel books and you think, I like this one. I don't like that one. This is pretty good. When in reality, all of them are below par in quality. Very few are above par in quality. And I think that a lot of that might have to do with editorial or whatever reason, but I know that Ryan North's Fantastic Four has a couple fans that I know personally. AR is a huge fan. It's his favorite writer. I think he does other stuff that AR reads as well, but I'm not a fan. And I'm not a fan of the idea of now that the Marvel ship is sinking, everyone's jumping ship and coming over to DC. Don't bring us your ship sinking creators. We don't want them. We've been doing great. I don't want to get bogged down with them. I mean, look at the list. It's insane. I'm not saying any of these are good or bad creators. I'm just going to name creators that are jumping ship from Marvel right now. You got Scotty Young, Al Ewing, Ryan North, Dan Slott, and many more. Like those are just off the quick top of my head. That's crazy to me. Oh, here we go. Thank you, TWC. What I've read of Ryan North's FF wasn't horrible, wasn't great either. He has a light touch. Might be an okay fit for Flash. All right, well, I'm going to give it a fair shot. Fair shot. I love what Al Ewing's doing on Absolute Green Lantern. Al Ewing wrote the best Hulk run in the past decade with Immortal. I love what Al Ewing did with We Only Find Them When They're Dead. I followed Al Ewing through a couple titles. I followed him over to Venom, but that was terrible. Him and Rom V had a tag team, one issue than the other on Venom, and I dropped that. But I love Rom V and I love Al Ewing separately. That was just a weird. See, Marvel. I think Marvel shoots himself in the foot. I'm hoping that coming over to DC, we get to see what these guys are really capable of. Who is it writing Firestorm? Jeff Lemire. Jeff Lemire is writing Firestorm. Greg Rucka's on Batgirl. What are the other big ones? Deathstroke. Who's on Deathstroke? I think Tony Fleece is on Deathstroke. The Stray Dogs person. The Feral person. DC is pretty much getting their run of them. They have everybody right now. Yeah, Immortal Thor was absolutely a 0 out of 10. I dropped that one. But I'll definitely be checking out the Ryan North Flash. I'm hoping that that's the trend that we see when these people come over. It definitely was. I think Dan Slott's just not my flavor, as with most people these days. So I'll give that. I know Scotty Young is a good creator. Like all of Scotty Young's independent stuff is fantastic. I wouldn't know about what he's written at Marvel because I just haven't read it. But his independent work is fantastic. So I'm excited for him to be writing Lobo. I think that's a great thing. I think I'll keep it on the pull list for the time being to see where the John Kent content goes, and then I'll drop it after that. Yo, new Teen Titans, baby. New Titans. John Kent front running the new Titans. I'm hyped for that. I'm giving it one more arc, and if it doesn't become fun, like I was having with it, I'm done. There you go. Well, let's not be too bad. Zdarsky and Williamson are writing for that sinking ship, as you call it. Yeah, I'm referring to the quality of it. It's no secret that the man, you ain't got to believe me. I'm not telling you my opinion based on literally every tracking sales data there is. Like the top 50 list, it looks completely different than it did 2 years ago. Even for graphic novels, the top 10 selling graphic novels of 2025 were all DC titles. Pick any month of the year last year or this year, the top 10 list will consist of all DC books except one. It's no secret. The quality of Marvel has not gone down. The great noticing of the quality of Marvel is happening. It's that simple. It's that simple. I'm not saying that there's not stuff over there that can't be enjoyed or this or that. Marvel just needs to get off their creators' backs and give them room to do some stuff. Like Chip's run on Daredevil. When was something like that universally praised at Marvel since then? Like universally praised. Yep. And I'm a huge fan of Joshua Williamson. Like, love that he's doing all kinds of stuff with DC, Indie, and over at Marvel with Iron Man. How many people are praising the Iron Man thing? What are we, 2 issues in? I was going to wait, and because I always do this thing where I jump on number ones and then regret buying after a while, and then I'm stuck with books that I never got. What's going on, Brian? Am I late? Super late. I haven't signed up for Lobo, just hoping we get some nice Scotty covers. Yeah, there you go. Let's see. Ship DC Mad is going to be fun. Oh, that's in a couple months, right? Like the Mad magazine special. Avengers Twilight was great. Yeah, miniseries though. I picked up every one of those. Nelson, the owner of Big Time Collectibles, hit me up a couple weeks before that came out. Says make sure you don't miss out on that. I love that. Picked up every issue. Praised it along the way. Elseworld was almost like their Kingdom Come. It was like their Kingdom Come. I really enjoyed that. Yeah, Chip is a good writer. I truly think that Marvel has to be kneecapping their creatives, like intentionally, unintentionally. I'm not talking about that, but you know, there's going to be different eras in comics where editorial just is a little bit tighter than other times, and sometimes they just have more room to create. I think there is an era right now where they just don't have everything as organized, and I don't know. It's not like I'm saying anything new. I'm not rewriting history here. Everyone's noticing. It's like such a common thing to say. I'm picking up more DC books than ever right now. Oh, I wish Marvel would pick up. I mean, I love Marvel, but they're not really you hear it every day. Like, find a stream, ask someone about it. It's not just me. There we go, T-Dubs. Good reminder there. Real quick, Matt says Iron Man's off to a good start. Yeah, I haven't heard anything good about it yet. I have not heard anything good about it yet. I've seen a couple of posts where people were kind of criticizing the dynamic of the way Tony Stark was being written, but that was it. Now, I don't take that with anything more than a grain of salt, because seeing people post about stuff more often than not, especially on X, it's people just crap posting, trying to justify why they don't pick up a book. But yeah, I haven't seen a bunch of talk on it. I don't know. Good to hear it's off to a good start. T-Dub says, I know you don't love Ice Cream Man, or you don't. I never read it. I got nothing against it. I own a handful of John Jang variants, but there's just nothing I picked up. But I'm super excited to have that creative team on Dead Man. Yeah, I'm more excited about that too. Now, I wasn't a fan of what they did with Superman, the Kryptonite Spectrum, but someone pointed out to me Dead Man might be more up their alley. So I'm excited for that. And I know that's spinning out of the pages of DCKO as well. It's in continuity. Death is all cattywampus since the events of KO, so that'll be cool. I think it's more fitting than them working on Superman. I've been a Marvel fan for 50 years, and the only title I get is Infernal Hulk. Nothing excites me when looking at the Marvel line. Thank you. I mean, like I said, I'm not making this up. It's like the normal sentiment across the board for people that read. I've grown up around these characters. My dad's collected forever. I love Marvel characters. And over time, they slowly just dropped off. I pick up Ghost Rider, Punisher, and Hulk. I will always pick up Hulk, even if it sucks, and I just put it in a box. I'll keep the run together. Punisher and Ghost Rider, if it's good, I will keep it. Benjamin Percy's Ghost Rider was great. He jumped off of it. The new person who came on didn't do good, so I dropped it. But Benjamin Percy went to Punisher, and Punisher's been great right now. So I'm getting Hulk and Punisher, and that's it. That is it. Creative team for Deadman is an excellent choice. Yeah, I hope it plays out good. Nothing original about Iron Man in the first 2 issues, just my opinion. Yeah, that's across the board what I've seen so far. I love Joshua Williamson, but I don't think he's going to have the room to do on Iron Man what he's done with like the Energon stuff, because you're like creating a universe with Energon. And what he does at DC is just, he's like, him and Jeremy Adams are like the top two. Jeremy Adams, and Mark Waid are literally the DC trinity of writers. You know what I mean? Like, he is up there. Man has like really earned his stripes. He's just fantastic. But it could just be because he's super familiar with the world, the lore, the universe, all that good stuff. Let's take a look at some of these covers, guys. I digress. You had an awesome Daniel Warren Johnson cover. They've done so many wrestling covers, like wild. Yeah, that's wicked. That looks like just a proper piece of art right there. Mike Del Mundo, well done. Look at him, just the world breaking and him just sitting in the center of it like a throne. Art by Jerome Opeña. That's a pretty piece of art. Completely not relevant to the story. Superman and Batman fighting each other, but still a pretty piece of art. That Ian Bertram, man, this artist caught my attention. It was either with Metamorpho issue 1 from that most recent miniseries, or with Absolute Batman issue 1, the 1:25 ratio variant. Either way, his art style is amazing. It's hyper detailed while being wildly abstract, but clean at the same time. It's super, super weird. Yeah, there ain't nothing wrong with liking it. Matt, you are blessed. You and there's a couple of y'all out there that are super blessed with a level of just like pure optimism that I ain't got it. Like in all fairness, like I'm intending to try to be hypercritical of stuff as well, trying to give as much hypercritical and detailed takes on stuff to give the widest audience the most information possible. So, you know, that we're all going to have different strokes for different folks kind of thing. And Marvel's real man. The only thing I'm getting is Wiccan, Witch's Road, but I love Wiccan and Hulkling, so I'll pick up anything with those two. Dude, I was working. Was I working at the LCS back then when Young Avengers first started? Talk about like just, dude, when Young Avengers kicked off, those first like 16, 20 issues, what an amazing run that was. Like the whole Iron Lad twist with Kang and just, yeah, that's some stuff that you go back and reread on a regular basis. Finding out that Hulkling wasn't a Hulk at all. Like, it was cool finding out that little Captain America was juicing, and dude, there's some cool stuff in there. Those colors are popping on the cover. Yeah, it's awesome. Mobius vibes. Yeah, great comparison. Yeah. Y'all are almost making me want to go back to reviewing new releases. Almost. Meh. I remember those reviews. Meh. But yeah, wicked cover there. Look at that. That Ben Oliver. That's wicked too. It almost looks like a color hold. I guess it is. Dan Moore hits us with the Versus cover. And Steve Skroke. Not to be confused with Steve Scrotum. That's pretty dope. Love the Omega Beams, man. And there's your foil cover. That's what's under the acetate right there. Look at the skeletons at the bottom. Are those notable characters? Yeah, you got Superman. I can't tell who that is on the bottom right, kind of standing up. I can't tell if that's hair meant to be a mask. But that's Superman on the bottom right corner. You can see the S on the chest. Hard to make out the other. I see Jay Garrick's helmet on the bottom left. Hawkman's helmet. So that's pretty cool. Holding up what I would assume is the Heart of Apocalypse over his head. Pretty wicked. Kenny Omega fighting Darkseid. I don't understand those covers either. Yeah, look at that. That's wicked. The 1:25 Mohamed Azra variant. This almost like bookends with the third print of issue 1 that they did. But that's pretty wicked. I like that. Holy smokes. James Fortress Comics Megacon Tyler Kirkham variant. That's wicked. So it looks like people are doing retailer exclusives on these. Pretty wild. That's how you know it was a big book. Yo, one person had the balls to do it. They'll sell that up for sure. Those Tyler Kirkham variants are super popular, that format. Let me go down here and find this variant that I think Steven with the sleeves was talking about. Thundar issue number 2 is out this week. Godzilla's out this week. Couple indies on my pull list. Couple indies. Where did it go? I know I had seen it down here. Avatar, number 5. Yes, the blue people. Here we go. DCKO number 1, third print. This is pretty wicked. Look at that. I think that was the last panel, last page for issue number 4, if I'm not mistaken. Great first name. Great. J-Man said he got the 25. It's fire. Yeah. Is this the one you were referencing earlier, Steven, with the sleeves? I think this was it. It's pretty cool getting the absolute characters on there. And they're the ones that are infected with pure Omega under Darkseid's control. Those revealed in DCKO the purpose of the absolute world. DC All-In special third printing. I got to go back and look at that one. I don't know where that one is. I got to go. I'll look on the list, see if I see it on there. I have no idea what it looks like. We'll see if we can find it. But yeah, it was revealed in DCKO number 4, the actual purpose of the absolute world, why Darkseid created it. It's literally just a world filled with assets for him to use if need be, if want be. And their appearance in KO number 4, and they're being taken off the planet, thrown into the tournament, and put back on the planet. They are none the wiser of it happening to them. They have no clue how they are ultimately cosmic pawns in the grand scheme of things. Pretty wild. All right, let me see if I can find this all-in special third print, he says. Right here. There we go. What am I looking at here? Oh, that's cool. It's a horizontal variant. You got the Trinity and the Absolute Trinity. That's cool. Nick Dragotta cover art. I had no clue that was coming out. Definitely didn't see it either. Nick Dragotta should have done Absolute Superman's cape with the dust of Krypton, though. I guess it is kind of a little bit. Super cool. That's wild seeing him draw Superman. Get used to seeing him draw Absolute Batman. Seeing him draw other characters kind of catches you a little off guard. That's the second printing. Second printing blank. Third printing. That's funny. They put all of the covers there. And there, yeah, this is the one, that John Jang variant for the first printing, the 1 in 25. Absolutely wicked. The Omega beams have the skulls like in it and stuff. I dig it. Batman's facial expression is great. Yeah. Landscape variants. Yeah, there you go. Landscape variants. Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff out this week. It's a massive 20 book stack like last week was, but the books are important. Kickoff of the next Batman arc, the finale to KO, and the springboard to next level, 2 absolute titles, multiple other Bat titles, kicking off story arcs, kind of following up for the first time on what's happening post KO. So yeah, a lot of stuff. Let's get this rocking and rolling here. Get ready for this. I'm gonna pull up this giveaway page, have it ready in the background. All right. 42 people watching. Hit the thumbs up. We're gonna be running the giveaway here in just a few minutes. But in the meantime, raise your hand if you're mad that Paramount won the bidding war for Warner Brothers. We got more information about that, so let's touch on and talk about that while we collect names. Glenn, what's going on? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We're going to be dropping the hashtag next level. Matt's mad. Matt's mad. Oh no. Yeah, it's a lose-lose situation. Warner Brothers selling. The deal, well, obviously not. It has to go through the long process of the antitrust courts and all that and signed off, but ultimately they still won. Whether they buy it all outright as a whole or if it gets broken into pieces like what Netflix was planning on doing, it's still happening. They haven't put pen on paper to finalize it, but yeah, stuff that. But yeah, it's definitely happening. No way around that. I'm super butthurt about Paramount. I will pirate. I'm not giving them a damn dime. That's wild. I wouldn't pirate nothing. I don't pirate Disney stuff. I don't pirate Netflix stuff. I don't pirate Paramount stuff. I don't pirate nothing. Yeah, yeah. In a perfect world, Warner Brothers stays Warner Brothers independently, but we're past that. Yeah, I'm with Tate. Like the argument that they get CNN and CBS. Who out here, who watching this live stream on a Tuesday afternoon on YouTube about comic books, who in this crowd of 43 people gets their news from CNN or Fox or CBS? Nobody. Legacy media is dead. Who cares who owns those skeletons of a once necessary company? All I care about is the movie angle to all this stuff. All I care about is the movie angle. So you're telling me that the people that brought us Top Gun Maverick and Transformers, and they have the company versus the people that just brought us Gunslinger starring Nicolas Cage?
Is interesting, this book. It says Bible. You should try it. Read it. It's good.
I'm looking for...
Keep in mind, that clip came from a Netflix original that just released last week. People were rooting for them. That's crazy. Like, I get the political, emotional aspect of it, but you got to take a pause, take a step back. That's a who cares. Yep, that's part of their commitment. They have their official commitment list up. Now, keep in mind, this is a commitment list. It means nothing. These are big corporations with billions of dollars at play. It means nothing. When Netflix said, we're going to commit to putting movies in theaters, it meant nothing. James Cameron even said that's sucker bait. But the stated intention is that HBO and Paramount Plus will merge into a single streaming service, which that makes a little bit of sense because you don't want to have to keep up with two of them. Kind of like what Disney did when nobody cried about it or complained about it when Disney bought all these other companies and they merged stuff and they merged Hulu and Disney Plus. No one cared. Like, hey, this is so convenient now. This is awesome. But because it's this company, it's like, oh, there's a problem now. I'm sorry, I just got to call it hypocrisy. No one watches CNN that is under 80. True. But yes, I hate the idea of the name HBO going away because out of the three of them, Cinemax, HBO, and Paramount, the one that's most close to me on a personal, emotional fandom level is definitely HBO. I think the brand recognition of HBO is super strong as well. You don't want to get rid of the brand recognition of HBO. So what are they going to call it? I don't know. The brand recognition of HBO is so strong that there's no such thing as the Warner Brothers streaming app. It's the HBO streaming app. You know what I mean? So that one's we'll see what happens. I'm curious. But both studios will release 15 films per year, each with a 45-day theatrical window, bare minimum. You know what I mean? Like how just the regular run-of-the-mill stuff. These are both studios. They release theatrical films. But they're stating that Paramount will still release 15 films a year and Warner Brothers will still release 15 films a year. Well, if you think about it, it should be more financially advantageous for them to keep them as two, especially with the trajectory that Warner Brothers has been on. David Zaslav deserves a raise. I know these guys get paid ungodly amounts of money, but what he's done for Warner Brothers is going to have to be studied. This guy understood the assignment. He pulled up to Warner Brothers like Neil Adams pulled up to DC back in the early 70s. Like, where's Superman? You know what I mean? Like we got some turning around to do. Put me on Batman. Where's your low selling book? I'm out to make Batman Brave and the Bold outsell Detective Comics and Batman. You know, like it's crazy what Zaslav has been able to do. Needs to be studied. Warner Brothers is only studio that can compete with Disney. They're going to be around, but in different way under new management. They are now capable of competing Now they're capable. I think on an output level, like how much they make, whatever their market cap is, whatever the revenue is, to put all that aside, they're the only company I agree on an IP level, on a potential level that could compete with Disney. For sure. What are you laughing at, J-Man? What are you laughing at, bro? I don't pay any attention to national network media. Nobody does. Yeah, it's all propaganda. Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, it's propaganda. Who watches that anymore? Except if you're watching it like for clips to laugh at it, because you'll have like Democrats will clip Fox News that you can get a laugh out of something they say, and Republicans will clip CNN and you get a laugh out of it. Like that's the only value it has, is us laughing at it. Like at this point in time, like we're watching a real-time war unfold on smartphones. We don't have to watch the news. We don't need them to tell us anything. It's wild. Nick Cage can do no wrong. Facts. I'm a huge fan. I watched the movie. Cage is an American treasure. He's a national treasure. And I'm excited for the next one of those movies. My problem is a very few companies having a monopoly over everything. We used to have laws against that. Yeah, and thanks to Disney, they were broken. My problem is anybody having a problem right now when if you take Paramount, if you take Skydance, if you take Warner Brothers and you merge them all, it's still smaller than Disney. So where was everyone's outcry when Disney bought up all these IPs, when they bought up Pixar, when they got the ABC stuff, when they bought Fox, 20th Century Fox? That's the line in the sand on a legal basis. When they bought 20th Century Fox, they said, okay, we're running into some problems here. You're going to have to break up the company. You can buy up to this amount of it before there's issues. And that's what they had to do. So that's the line in the sand. Disney is to blame for the line in the sand. When that happened, when Congress allowed that, that's when it went too far. It had already gone too far. Everything was already too big, but that's where the last expansion was, into letting things get even bigger. None of us like the idea of monopolies. None of us like the idea of these companies being this big, but that's what they've allowed to happen. They're combining Paramount Plus and HBO Max, so they'll probably start charging $50 a month. I hope not. They didn't do that with Disney and Hulu. By combining them, it costs us less for them to maintain, update, and manage those streaming services. So hopefully you'll only see like a minor bump. As long as they keep combining these and the combined total is less than the two separate totals, I don't have a problem with it, because I already pay for the premium versions of Paramount. I paid for the premium version of HBO, Disney. Luckily, the Disney Hulu thing saved me money in the end because I got Disney and Hulu. But yeah, hopefully it won't be $49.99. I think HBO is already the most expensive one, rightfully so, because of the quality. Dude, realistically, Apple could be baptizing people if they all figured out how good this stuff was over there. I'm still surprised when I see people getting newspapers delivered. Yeah, very few do. Where I work, we use newspapers, so we're always accepting donations for it. So I've watched the steady decline over the last decade, but still people get it. The DC Universe dodged a bullet big time. I know it sounds bad, but I haven't watched the news in years unless it was an emergency interruption. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. Local people forget that local politics and local news affects your life 99% more than the news you watch on national stuff. If they combine both apps together, there will be a problem with that because they will charge high amounts for the platform. Yeah, again, unless you're somebody who already subscribed to both of them separately. It's not political to me. It's a fact. One corporation is going to control three major studios. What three? It's Paramount and Warner Brothers. Paramount and Warner Brothers are it's just two studios. Like, no, I don't think no one considered Skydance a studio. I mean, there's other little studios out there. That's Paramount and Warner Brothers. Because you still have Universal, you still have Disney, Netflix doing their thing. Those are the big ones. But you got Sony, which is still separate. Well, yeah. What's going on, D-Bone? Possibly. That's what I'm saying. They better keep the brand name. There's no way they won't keep HBO separate. That's like the longest running success story in television. 100% what? You got to put context. I got lag time on here. Not necessarily people weren't crazy. Disney owning everything. Disney is pretty evil corporation. Yeah, 1000%. I've been pointing that out forever since they changed their posters, movie titles, and edit their films in other countries, while over here in America, they grandstand. I tell people all the time, none of these companies have morals. They're making entertainment. They're making bad decisions along the way, but ultimately, at the end of the day, all they care about is money. And if they lose it for long enough, they're going to piss you off when they change up their game plan. Keep that in mind. It's all about money. Not a lot of people can't afford certain items. Say, big true, big true. But we're trending in the right direction, except for this war might slow it down. That's when they changed the name to Max. They quickly, yeah, 1000%, bro. HBO Max mount. Let's go. I'm for it. We need to get that trending. HBO mount, HBO Max mount. Also, it's funny that HBO and Showtime will be owned by the same company. Yeah, what was it like 20? When was it? Like, was it 2012, 2011 when HBO and Cinemax merged? Went under one. They had that Strike Force show or something like that around the time. You know, Showtime hasn't been relevant in a long time, but I get Showtime stuff on the Paramount app with a higher tier thing. It's crazy seeing them all come together. We're slowly making our way toward Demolition Man with Simon and what was his name? I always want to say John Spartan, Sylvester Stallone, and Dennis Rodman. When Taco Bell was the ultimate corporation and owned everything, everything was called Taco Bell. We're going in that direction. And I'm telling you now, it's going to be Netflix. Netflix backed out of this deal, but they'll just wait it out and just buy these companies up later when they go under. Never watch mainstream media at all. There you go. Nick Cage, he's a national treasure, pun intended. Yep. It's already been shown, you know, only what they allow. Yeah. Man, I don't know how far y'all go down the rabbit hole, but a lot of what they don't allow slips out there. I got news from AI on TikTok. Ew, that sounds dangerous. AI is compromised, already been compromised. There's a lot of companies out there, but yeah, it's running out quick. Yeah. Well, now a lot of people like to look back and say they don't like Disney did it, but there was nobody can try to retcon history. Nobody was complaining about Disney doing it in that time. Everyone was like, yay, they'll get Fantastic Four back. Yay, they'll get this back. You know what? Sony needs to give them Spider-Man too. They just should buy Sony. Like, I've been listening to people say the same thing across the board for years. I'm like the one person I know that argues that Sony should keep Spider-Man and never give it back. I was one person saying I wish that 20th Century Fox wouldn't give it back and would just keep making the other movies. I like the idea that Stan Lee himself said decades ago that I love watching these other people make their versions of these things because you get to see how creative they are and this or that. I hated the idea of Disney owning it all, and I've been a pariah for years up until the last 2 years, pretty much when people started kind of getting Disneyed out too. But we can't, like, you might have had that feeling. I'm not denying that, Matt, but I'm talking about the general consensus. I was a pariah saying these things, at least our circles on the interwebs here. But no, everyone was excited about it. We're going to bring the X-Men in. Like, screw the X-Men, dude. Like, they're buying 20th Century Fox. What about Alien? What about Predator? My precious Avatar. Like, I was worried about James Cameron's Avatar. Like, that was my biggest concern because I love Avatar. I don't want Disney controlling Pandora. That's crazy. But luckily, James Cameron was still able to do his thing. And y'all might not even know this, but there was issues after Avatar 2. He had to go handle some business to get this money that movie made back to the proper hands because Disney, being a corrupt corporation, like Loaders pointed out earlier, he had issues with that. Like, it's crazy. Disney's market cap is like 180 billion. WB is 90. Side it's only 15. Those two coming together won't be as big as Disney for now. Yeah, I pointed that out. They're not nearly as big. And for those that are wondering, y'all are worried about big corporations, XYZ. Freaking Netflix has got a $400 billion market cap. They could ultimately cash buy any of these places. If they wanted a big dick and just win it all, they could. No problem whatsoever. That's why I think they're just going to sit back and get it later. People won't spend $50 for a streaming service anymore. Oh, hell no. Definitely not. Absolutely not. Not at least one. Baby boomers are keeping newspaper. Yeah, I think you're right, because all the people that bring them in and donate them, Matt, they're what could be called silver foxes. Definitely a little bit older on like the 65 plus side. The average American household spends between 46 and 69 per month on streaming services. Adds up. Yeah. And now that you mention that average, that's still significantly lower than premium cable. You know, premium cable before the cord cutting stopped was about $1.20. That was your trilogy though, your cable trinity. You had your telephone, your internet, and you had your cable with a couple of the premium channels on there. You had to have HBO. You had to have Stars because Spartacus was something that couldn't be missed. Showtime, a lot of sports channels. But yeah, at an average of 50 to 70, we're still about a little bit better than half of what cable used to cost everybody. But even with this, you still have to factor in internet after the fact. And dude, internet has gone up so high because they know that people are just cutting down to just internet. And Skydance isn't a studio like that, though. If you want to count Skydance, that means that they own 3 out of 1 billion. I think there's a possibility to bring Turtles to DC eventually. Yeah, sooner than later. They've already done it. You have the animated feature film already, which was awesome. So that means like there's stuff like that on the horizon. The IPs that are now in play together are just almost limitless. Transformers. We already seen what they did with just crossing over a bunch of the Warner Brothers IPs and comics here recently. Local news. There you go. We used to spend that on cable. Honestly, I wish we still had cable. I just love turning on a TV. Yeah, I still argue that on-demand cable was the peak, and we've regressed with streaming services. When you could just turn on cable, flip through live channels. If you miss something live, you just hit the on-demand button and you can just go to it. It was just all there. It was literally streaming before they took it off cable and isolated it. It was the switching to these isolated streaming platforms was the dumbest move in history. Dumbest move in history. Makes no sense. 2014, there you go. State Farm just dumped Disney. I don't know what that means. Demolition Man, Wesley Snipes, not Rodman. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I was thinking of Double Impact, I think, with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Wasn't that the one that had Dennis Rodman in it? All right, let's see where we're at. I'm sad that Disney didn't buy WB. I was looking forward to seeing what they could do with the DC universe. Yeah. Well, you got a sample of it already with Superman. That's MCU Superman right there. Disney doesn't have the same political implications or ties. Disney is fairly neutral. False. Politics-wise, it's only about the money for them. False. You can DM me about it sometime. Happily. So anybody that thinks, and this, sometimes, guys, we all get a little bit bias blind. If you think that Disney is neutral, you are just lying to yourself. Now, I've gone and looked up some of the CEOs. I've done this for Netflix. I've looked at who they've publicly donated to. And for context, everyone's complaining about the Ellisons being right-leaning. They're right-leaning while it's advantageous to them, I admit, very much so, because what they have going on with Oracle and all kinds of other stuff. The Ellison son was gifted the money to buy a movie studio, and he's done well for himself as a movie studio executive. There's some unfortunate potential implications that come along with that. Now, if you look at the other companies, you look at Netflix that has a multi-billion-dollar deal with the Obamas, that has actual Obama cabinet members sitting on their board of directors that have actively given over $15 million to Democratic political candidates over the last 2 elections. Don't tell me that they're not political. You can look at their content and tell, like it's not a debate. It's not an opinion. They are overtly political. And it's the same thing with Disney. Disney literally went to political war with the state of Florida. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, they lost. And now they have a good working relationship again, the state of Florida and Disney. They're overtly political. Like, so much so that they had to slam on brakes and backpedal. Disney is in 2025 and 6, Disney is in the FAFO slam on brakes and backpedal stage of getting a little bit out of politics. As a company, they have stated numerous times that they were political, that they were making political moves, kind of like what Kirkman's doing with Star Trek. He's made it abundantly clear that he is political, and that's why its content is being made politically. They had to back up and say we're going to step out of hot button political issues and aim more for entertainment first stuff. So this isn't my opinion; it's Disney's opinion that they were acting politically over the last X number of years. Same with Netflix. Same with all these other companies. It's not a question. All of these companies slant politically, and they put their money where their mouth is with it too. In Disney's case, they lost a lot of money doing it, so they're backpedaling now. At the end of the day, it's just one billionaire buying out another billionaire. Your opinions don't matter. To a degree, yeah. To a degree, yeah. Yeah, I don't know how Warner Brothers is structured. I was trying to think about that. Trying to think about how Warner Brothers is structured as a company. I don't think they have like this, like how Elon Musk is ultimately the owner of his companies, even though they have like a board and shares and all that. He still has controlling interest. I don't know how Warner Brothers is structured, who might be the majority shareholder kind of thing. Curious. I'm not worried about big companies owning multiple studios. I'm worried because Ellison is an evil dude. It is political to me, but I think that is okay in my honest opinion. Yeah, it's perfectly fine. Anyone can hold any opinion they want. What is evil about him for you? What about him is evil? Because I'm genuinely curious because there's two Ellisons. There's the one that actually owns the studio that's the younger one, then his dad. Do you think Ryan Coogler, James Gunn, Mike, and Pam will stay at WB after this merger with Paramount get completed? I hope so. Who's doing the X Files for Coogler? James Gunn is. They've already in like. I know that like Campia did like a rumor going around that James Gunn might be backing out, but I don't see any word or sign or sound of that. Him and Safran apparently are like that's one of the little what do you call it? The little commitments is to keep them on and doing their DCU things. $6 billion in cost reductions also planned. That's going to be on the back end for sure. No plans to sell off cable network sports properties. They said they're going to keep licensing stuff out, which I think is interesting. Eventually, they'll all be absorbed by one another, and we'll have cable again. Hope so. Yeah, Double Impact Ramen. Yeah. What's up, the immortal Biggie Sheik? Disney is the most political. Facts. Literally the most. Big time. And Netflix is hot on their heels. It's literally Disney, then Netflix as the two most political like entertainment companies to have ever existed. And y'all can go check, guys. Go look up CEOs, then pick an AI. It makes it easier. Ask Gemini, ask Grok, ask any of them. They'll all give you the same answer because I cross-check AI answers with each other often. But they'll tell you these numbers. The numbers I'm giving you is because I've actually taken the time to look. Is this company political? Which way does it slant? Who sits on their board? Who are these people? Who have they donated to? I'm crazy like that. I'm a psychopath. I have time in the day when I'm sitting in the front yard waiting on a bus to pull up to look at these things. I get curious. I like information. Double Impact was a great movie. Double Team was a movie ramen. There you go. Ramen is great, said no one ever. Nobody's entertaining though, right? It's healthy to have political discourse and opinion. It's not healthy to have control over those views. Fair? Okay, I'll admit I forgot about the floor thing, but DeSantis tried to dictate how a private company ran their business, and Disney said no. It's only so private when you that's not necessarily a fair assessment of it. It's a complex situation with taxes and all kinds of things that go into the state and out of the state. And yeah, it's a little more complicated than that. But bottom line is they get along now. Bottom line is they worked it out. Bottom line is residents of Florida don't pay income tax because they get along now. Bottom line is they don't have to pay state tax. Like, so we can make fun of the people of Florida all the time, but the working relationship of the government of Florida and the company of Disney is so great that it benefits all the residents. So I'm a big fan of Disney and the government of Florida currently working together the way that they do, because it seems like a lot of them are leaving greed at the door when they're handling business. And I think that's something to be considered by other states. How's Else an evil person? I would love to see that too. I want to know. Please see why most recent comment. I might have missed it, Tate. Wait, here it is. Oh, I didn't see that. That doesn't answer the question. It is not healthy to have control over those views. Yo, somebody owns every news organization, like period. Like somebody owns CNN, somebody owns CBS, somebody owns ABC, Disney, somebody owns Fox, somebody owns all their little smaller affiliates, somebody owns PBS, somebody owns NPR. You forget those are all part of the FCC board as well. There's more than just 3 out there. There's more than 3. My video I posted yesterday actually gets into all that and explains a lot of information that some people might not think about. With the FCC, there's 3 tiers of level to it and stuff, and there's a lot more stations than people think. Because according to your logic, they are also, yeah, remember when, all right, I've got to get to the bottom of this. Hopefully Gunn will back out. So far, everything he's done has been underwhelming, in my opinion. That's fair. I enjoy Gunn. I think it'd be a lot more enjoyable if we get more variety. We need to get to the other projects so he can, like, it can have fun doing the Gunn stuff and get serious with this one and get the Clayface horror. I think it'll help prop up the Gunn stuff if we get the other stuff. Disney made Star Wars very political. Thanks, Kathleen Kennedy. Yeah. Indiana Jones, Star Wars, MCU, all of it. There you go. Never paid state income tax. That's what I'm saying. Never paid state income tax, and now they're obliterating property tax. Reed Ellison is a Zionist, and I don't like his ties to Israel. That's no good for me. Not conservative, but I do believe America first. Dude, that's super fair. I have nothing to say against that criticism. That is absolute fair criticism. The last two words that you said in that comment, absolutely America first. And if you start from that fundamental point, as an American, I think every country should be their country first. As an American, I fully agree with that. Going from there is always a safe bet. Standing for LGBT rights isn't political at all. LGBT people do exist. Please stop this narrative. No one said what you just said. You're the only person who said that, just to be fair. Loaders is a, like, it's on your public profile. Strong LGBT active. Dude, that's just an unnecessary rabbit hole to go up. You just pointed out something that's the most random thing in the world. That wasn't what it was. That's a very cut and dry, to the point of it being not accurate way of pointing at it. I love hearing these conversations. I wish more people would always learn maybe evil is the right word. Dude, I understand what you mean, but I just, for the sake of just good discourse, that's why I was asking for clarification. Except Star Wars is already political. I think there's a difference between political and making it over the back of your head frying pan with our politics. Star Wars was always political Star Wars. It wasn't political real world. Does that make sense? I think that's how a lot of people measure that stuff. And that's just a difference in quality of a writer. Are you writing the politics of Star Wars, or are you writing your politics into Star Wars? You know what I mean? But yeah, Star Wars, that's what's fun about Star Wars, is the political intrigue of it. But the politics of Star Wars are unique to Star Wars. You can see parallels, you can see metaphors. This could be this could be that, or they can just be saying frying pan, back of the head. And that's not necessarily a Star Wars critique. That's just a critique of when you hear people say, oh, there's too much politics in this and politics. And some people use it as just a way to discredit something that they didn't want to invest in. And those people are just as dishonest. But yeah, there's a difference in quality writers. A crappy writer tells you what to feel. A quality writer makes you feel it. There's a difference. There's a huge difference. That's when you get done reading something, when you get done watching something, were you told what to feel, or did you feel it along the way? That's the difference. You know what I mean? Yeah. This, like, dude, I haven't gone back and finished it, but dude, even the clips, watching Stellan Skarsgård monologue, like, even the clips will have you in goosebumps. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. We're all adults. No one needs to tell us what to feel or what to think. But I'm all for artists presenting something that moves me and makes me feel something and makes me think about something. And now I'm sitting here questioning why I feel this way, and I get to see things in a different light. You know what I mean? Like, that's the difference between an artist and a hack. And too many hacks have been out there ruining all of our beloved stuff for too long. And that's across the board, right, left, center, it doesn't matter. It ain't about politics in that sense. It's about our entertainment, our escapism, our fandoms. We put a lot of time into these things, man, because we love them. We identify with these characters. They resonate with us. And it's a shame when they're not done justice. And the only people I think that are qualified to say if something's done justice or not isn't the board members, not the CEO, not the billionaires, not the owners. It's the fans. We are the only reason any of those things exist. Without us, they die. Star Wars existed for decades without making new content because the fandom's so strong. So it's up to us. Honest criticism is all that matters. Hateful rhetoric, shit posting, none of that matters. You're just barking at the moon. But honest criticism, fair criticism matters, because these characters matter to us. In the grand scheme of things, we own them. They're ours. They don't belong to these companies. They're just renting them. At the end of the day, we own them. Without us, they don't exist. Period. Let's spin this wheel. Good luck to everybody. Free shipping worldwide if you are a channel member in the Legion tier. Free shipping in the US if you are a supporter tier or subscriber. And if you're international, guys, for the Tuesday one, I can give you a $10 shipping credit, or you can prize tag somebody. Let's go. And we got the bonus books in there and all the extra stuff as well. All that spinning. I'm going to cover it up. These are what we're giving away today. Now let's see who won. Stephen Berkland. Let's go. Stephen with the sleeves is today's winner. Stephen with the sleeves. Congratulations. Yeah, I appreciate everybody hanging out. This has been a fun one. Dude, I love having subsistent conversations. Look how nobody's attacking anybody in the comment section, how we got people that are for it, against it, everybody getting along. This is how it's supposed to be. This is how it should be. We actually get good conversations when we do this. So congrats to Steve. And I appreciate y'all hanging out. Go get DCKO. You're going to be mind blown. Come back here Sunday night at 8:30, Sector 2815. Steven from Burt Family 54 Comics will be here. We'll be talking about full spoilers and discussions and stuff. I might put a KO video out tomorrow because it's a lot of context in that book that a lot of people might not miss. There's a lot. It's a meaty book, meaty story. And we'll be talking about Monarch Season 2. Get you a trial of Apple. You can Google search the different trial things that they might have, special things going on with it. And like I know when I first got Apple, I got a 3-month free subscription by getting it through my television versus a mobile app. So check for stuff like that. Watch Season 1, get caught up and keep up with Season 2. You like connected universe stuff, you like them good writing. Mad Fraction, who writes Batman, writes the show. It's fantastic. Come by, hang out. We'll have a blast. We'll have fun. And then we'll be right back here next Tuesday. Until then, make sure notifications are on. Hit that join button. Become a channel member. Helps channel a lot. And until next time, as always, we are Legion.
You are who you choose to be.
Superman.